beautifuls. So, we talked a little bit about dressing your candles with oil. So, I want to talk to you now about using herbs. And you can use some other things outside of herbs, but if you can see, you can use herbs powdered. These are just crushed leaves. You can use them in the tincture form, okay? And still, you would put that on the same way you would put an oil. Uh, even this is actually like real shredded money, and you can use something of that nature as well. It doesn't really matter. You can actually mix your herbs together. So, for example, a cinnamon oil and a clove oil and an attraction oil are great for a love spell. And allspice and a better business oil are great for money. But if you were going to use rosemary, say you have rosemary herb, you could mix that with a dragon's blood oil, and that is really good for breaking a curse or breaking really bad situations and conditions in your life. So the way that you would do this, and here is a perfect example, because I had already had oil on my candle, right? I literally just tap. I'm going to make sure you can see. Tap the herbs on, and it doesn't take much, especially because you've already cleansed it and you have some oil on there, so it will adhere. If you're going to do dried herbs, you really do need to have some type of oil so that the herbs can adhere to it. Okay, and you can do that all over. In terms of putting those herbs in a candle, I would sprinkle, preferably powder, over the top, and that's it. Now, when you're working with a container candle, there's a couple of things that I want you to take into consideration. So, um, you can flood a candle. So people will go, oh, I did a spell. This is what my candle looks like, whether it's in a container or not. Or it didn't burn very well. What does that mean? Et cetera, et cetera. Sometimes, most often, it means one, the candle may not have been cleansed, right? So it does what it does. Sometimes there's faulty wicks because they're mass produced. And even when they are not mass produced, you will have faulty segments of cotton if you're using a cotton wick, and definitely you shouldn't be using a wire wick at all. So you can cause the candle as it starts to burn, particularly in a container, to become off balance because of any stones that you put in there, any oils, and so the oil ratio will create a larger puddle and put your wick out. So that's why when you saw me using the oils, I put it on my finger, I coat my wick, and I get in there. Or I make really deep holes, as I explained, to drop literally just a few drops down. And that way, I'm not flooding my oil. When I put in herbs, okay, I am literally taking a pinch and coating the top. So can you see that? And then because there's oil in there, or whatever I use to cleanse it, it does not have to be a ton. Mind you, you're putting this in here, and the most important ingredient, and the ingredient that you really want to go over the top with, is your intention. Not the herbs, not the spices, not the essential oils, not the waters, not all of those things. It's your intention. Because if you're in a really serious situation and you pick up a candle and you put your intention on it and you set that aflame, you can still, on your intention alone, make it happen. This cleansing and dressing is something that intensifies your intention and will help to manifest what you want to manifest, but it's not always necessary. The ritual work of my son's in the room of cleansing and focusing, it helps us to focus our attention, which is what candles do, or any other ritualistic thing that we do. It allows us to kind of harness our intention. Now, the other thing and the last thing for the glass candles in terms of dressing, we'll go into on the next segment. So I will see you there.